Alright, Shalom Akim, Shalom, Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. This is your brother Zakaria Allah, branched out here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Coming with another lesson through the Spirit. Lord willing, be edifying to the Lord's elect. Alright, and before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Yahawadah, Barakatha Yahawah, Barakatha Yahawashi, Barakatha Yahawah, Barakatha Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and who teach well. Shalom to the Akim out there that's pushing the truth, that's laboring in the word, and that's pushing the gospel of the great kingdom that's soon to come. Shalom to the Akwath that's listening in, that's remaining true to the faith, and remaining faithful and submissive to their husbands, guiding their children. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the 12 tribes that scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and blessings to you all. Barakathum. All right. So for this long-awaited lesson, you know what I'm saying, I've been meditating and working on for a couple days now. You know what I'm saying. The name of the lesson is Understanding Jacob's Trouble. All right, Understanding Jacob's Trouble. And you know, as I look around, you know what I'm saying, I look at you know, these individuals who consider themselves prophets, you know what I'm saying, who call themselves prophets, who you know, come in the stead of one who would consider themselves a teacher amongst Israel. You know what I'm saying? Many of them, and even Bishop Nathaniel was on this type of time, you know what I'm saying, years ago. All right. There was on this kick where there is no such thing as Jacob's trouble. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing. All right. There will not be a time of Jacob's trouble. All right, where it's going to be an event that will eclipse the horrors of history in times past. You know what I'm saying? But as we move, you know, as we move forward towards the great perilous time, you know what I'm saying, that's been prophesied of Jacob's trouble, you know what I'm saying, it's important to know what it is. All right, it's important to know what it is and why it is necessary. You see what I'm saying? And yes, this time that we are entering into is very much necessary. You see what I'm saying? You know, you got individuals like Big Judah, I mentioned Bishop Nathaniel, you know what I'm saying, and many other cats out there, you know what I'm saying, that one dude who was featured by Elder Manat Zakba, who was doing a video on him. You know, all these cats that's coming out the woodwork telling you that there is no such thing as Jacob's trouble. You got ISGPK that say that Jacob's trouble is gay, you know what I'm saying, and completely mocking the prophecies, all right, that's written about it. Okay, why? Because their congregation and those who follow them, you know what I'm saying, they want to hear smooth things, you know what I'm saying. They want to hear words of peace and love and happiness and yada yada yada, you know what I'm saying. They don't want to go through nothing, man. They don't want to eat the whole roll. All right, they don't want to eat the whole roll, man. And the whole roll comes with not just the sweetness but the bitterness as well. You see? So it's important to know what Jacob's trouble is, all right, and why this thing has to happen. All right, many people, when you go into the prophecy of Jacob's trouble, okay, they tend to get it mixed up with the curses. You see what I'm saying? Most notably that of slavery, which is brought upon us by, you know, not just Edomites, but by every nation that has conspired with them. Okay? When you mention Jacob's trouble, they're like, oh no, we already been through that. We've been through Jacob's trouble. We went through slavery. You know what I'm saying? We went through Jim Crow. You telling me that there's going to be a time even worse than that? Yes. Yes. Well, we went through the Trail of Tears. You know what I'm saying? We went through the horrors of Columbus and the conquistadors and whatnot. Yes, there's a time that's going to be worse than that, and it's coming quickly. You see what I'm saying? It's coming quickly. So one has to make a distinction between the two in order to understand the will of the Heavenly Father, Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi, concerning the house of Yashar Allah as a whole. You have to know the difference. Okay, so let's begin with the curses, right? You know what I'm saying? The curses that was laid upon the children of Israel is a consequence. All right, it was a consequence pertaining to the contract, a specific contract or a covenant that the Israelites had entered into with the Heavenly Father. All right, let's go here to the book of Psalms. All right, let's get Psalms chapter 50. Okay, Psalms chapter 50 and verse 5. It reads, "Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice." Okay? This people, all right, the Israelites, all right, we entered in a specific contract. All right? Only the Israelites entered into this contract. That's also in the book of Amos. Right? That's in the book of Amos. As a matter of fact, since I'm in Psalms right now, let's go to Psalms chapter 147. All right, Psalms chapter 147 and verse 19. It says, "He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh." You see what I'm saying? It's only with the children of Israel that he has made this covenant with. Right? Real quick. Amos chapter 3. All right, Amos chapter 3 and verse 2. Let's start at verse 1. It says, "Hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known of all the families of the earth," meaning all the other nations of the planet. "You only have I known. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities." You see what I'm saying? So you got to understand what these curses are. These curses are punishment. All right? It's a punishment, man. Okay? These are consequences pertaining to that contract. It says this specific contract came with contractual clauses, man. All right? And these contractual clauses were the cornerstone, all right, of what would happen and how you would identify the Israelites today, right? I looked up contractual clause, okay, and I asked ChatGPT. I said, "What is a contractual clause?" And it says, a contractual clause is a specific section within a contract that outlines particular terms, conditions, or obligations of the parties involved. These clauses define rights and responsibilities, helping to prevent misunderstandings and disputes in the agreement. All right? That's what the curses were. Okay? So when you read Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1 through 14, what does that do? It outlines, if the Israelites do point A, then expect point B. You see? And then when you read from verses 15 through verse 68, all right, it tells you, it outlines, if the Israelites do point C, then expect point D. Okay? And so on and so forth. So, and Moses had the laws, All right. And Moses had the laws and records of the contract placed in the side of the ark for a receipt. All right. For a receipt of transaction, to put it in modern terms. All right. So when you go to Deuteronomy chapter 31, it tells you this. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 26. It says, "Take this book of the law and put it in the side of the ark of the covenant of the Lord your power, that it may be there for a witness against thee. For I know thy rebellion and thy stiff neck. Behold, while I am yet alive with you this day, ye have been rebellious against the Lord Yahweh, and how much more after my death?" You see? So this was put in the side of the covenant as a receipt, okay? To make sure that what? Let me go back to the definition. To make sure that helping to prevent misunderstandings and misunderstandings and disputes in the agreement, all right? So it was to define the rights and responsibilities, helping to prevent misunderstandings and disputes in the agreement. That was the whole point. All right. So, and when you think about the priests, when you think about the Levites, all right, when you go into the word Levi in the Hebrew, in the Hebrew, it's LAWAYA, all right, LAWAYA. The tribe of Levi is the tribe of LAWAYA. Okay, and that's how you get the word lawyer today. Okay, and a lawyer is what? A lawyer is an intercessor or intercessor. He's one that is the middleman, right? Between you and the judge. Okay, that's what the lawyer is. Well, the tribe of priests, which was the tribe of Levi, all right, or LAWAYA in the Hebrew, LAWAYA, all right, they were the intercessors between the Israelites and the Heavenly Father. They were the priesthood. Okay? So, a whole contract was made. Okay? You know what I'm saying? And the reason why Moses did this is because, you know, he knew he knew that that here we are in 2025, right? In 2025, he knew that some niggas was gonna ask, why is this happening to us? You know what I'm saying? Why this? Why that? Okay? I want to get this in Daniel. I could also get this in the book of Baruch, but let me get this in Daniel. All right. All right, Daniel chapter 9, and let's start at verse 11. It says, "Yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of the Most High, because we have sinned against him. And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem." All right, you have to understand that Jerusalem is a people first before it's a place. Okay, just like when you're mentioning Edomites, when you mention Basra is a people first before it's a place. Okay, it's the same concept. Now, with that said, you know what I'm saying, and given that, you know, given everything that's happened to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians, all right, Hispanics, what exactly is Jacob's trouble then? That's the question, right? Let's go to January. Let's go to Jeremiah, all right? Let's hit Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. You know, let's start at verse 5. It says, "For thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right? For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck. Not you. He said, I will break his yoke from off thy neck and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. You see what I'm saying? All right? This is on the Lord's time, and he's the one that's bringing this. And that's one of the things that keeps us comfort. All right? That's one of the things that gives us comfort, knowing that it's not these devils that's doing this. It's not Esau, Edom in the grand scheme of things. You see what I'm saying? It's the Lord that's behind all of this. All right? And if you're the one that's serving the Lord, if you're the one who's constantly seeking him, diligently seeking him, all right, and he promised that he would keep you as reward, as per the contract. You know what I'm saying? He promised that he would watch out for you, that he would keep you from the perils. That's what gives you comfort, knowing that not only is he the one that's bringing it, but he's the one that can protect you from it. Okay? And what is Jacob's trouble? Since we're asking that question, Jacob's trouble is the culmination of dreadful situations. All right? It's the culmination of dreadful situations, a crescendo. All right? A crescendo, if you will. Okay? Let me look up crescendo real quick. Let's go to the Merriam-Webster. All right, Merriam-Webster. Crescendo. It says a gradual increase. All right. Specifically, a gradual increase in volume of a musical passage. The peak of a gradual increase. A climax. You see? A climax. All of these scenarios that's going to come and hit society, all right, is going to be a gathering or a massive climax. All right, a crescendo. It says with an increase in volume used as a direction in music. All right, and what we're about to see is an entire symphony of destruction. A symphony of destruction, man. All right, it's going to be all over the place. The scriptures say that the Lord delights in judgment. All right, and it's going to be a hell of a lot of judgment. You see what I'm saying? So that's the, it's not going to be a pretty sight, man, but it's going to happen, and it has to happen. You see what I'm saying? And we're going to get into that. All right? You know what I'm saying? And that's why the scriptures say that it's going to be a time unlike any other before in the face of the earth, man. All right? No other time like it. The prophet Daniel had mentioned that in Daniel chapter 12, verse 1. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a time so crazy that even Michael the archangel, all right, the one commanding underneath Yahawah himself, is going to have to come and protect the Israelites, man. It's going to be that fucking bad. You see what I'm saying? Ezra saw it. Habakkuk saw it. All right? All these prophets of old had seen it. You see what I'm saying? Jeremiah saw it. Isaiah saw it. Okay? This is going to be a time unlike any other, man. Even Yahawah himself mentioned it in the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 21 and 22. And he made it clear that the times we're entering into would have to be sped up just to make sure that there's still Israelites left alive. You see what I'm saying? That's how bad, that's how dire this time period is going to be. And as we can see now, time is speeding up. Time is going very fast. All right? We're about to be in April. Already, we're about to be in April. And it feels like the year just started. So we're passing the whole quarter of the year already. You see what I'm saying? So time is moving fast, man. All right. The important thing to note is that Jacob's trouble is twofold. Okay. On the one hand, it's a spiritual test. All right. The ultimate sifting process, if you will. And on the other hand, it's also a punishment. However, not a punishment that's meant to befall every Israelite. All right. Like the scriptures say, but he shall be saved out of it. All right. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it, is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right. This is going to befall all of Israelites, not every Israelite. That's what the curses were meant for. You see, that's what the curses were meant for. Jacob's trouble will affect everyone, but the destruction, the pain, and the carnage that it's going to bring is only allotted to 2/3 of Israelites here in Babylon the Great, aka America. You know what I'm saying? And everyone on the planet is going to experience this trouble as well. Okay? Everyone on the planet is going to experience trouble and turmoil. All right? The scriptures tell us in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, it tells us what? It tells us that this time of temptation is going to hit the whole world, man. All right? Let me get this in 2nd Esdras, actually. Bear with me. 2nd Esdras chapter 16 and verse 19, it says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. All right? For amendment. What does the word amendment mean? Let me look that up. All right? Like our apostles told us, you have to understand the meaning of words, man. There's power in the meaning of words, man. All right? Amendment. All right, it says the act of amending something, a correction. All right, a correction. So these scourges are meant to correct us. They're meant to get us in line, man. They're meant to bring us back to our right minds. You know what I'm saying? All right, to repent, to turn back. You see? And only 1/3 of Israel is going to do that. Continuing on, verse 20, it says, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. That's talking about 2/3, man. Okay? Out of all the people, it's going to be a small remnant who's going to amend their ways. All right? The Lord said he would turn back to his place until we acknowledge our offense. And only the elect will do that. Verse 21, behold, victuals shall be... Nah, that's good. I think that's all I need from that. Let's see. Let's go to 2nd Esdras chapter 8. All right, 2nd Esdras chapter 8 and verse 55. And it reads, and therefore ask thou no more questions concerning the multitude of them that perish. All right? For when they had taken liberty, they despised the Most High, thought scorn of his law, and forsook his ways. Moreover, they have trodden down his righteous. They said in their heart that there is no God, yea, and that knowing they must perish. For as the things aforesaid shall receive you, so thirst and pain are prepared for them For it was not his will that men should come to naught, but they which be created have defiled the name of him which made them, and were unthankful unto him which prepared life for them. And therefore is my judgment now at hand. You see, that's the punishment portion of Jacob's trouble, man. Okay, it's twofold. Okay, on the one hand, this thing is a punishment that's going to befall the 2/3. It's going to befall the heathen as well. Okay, because Jacob's trouble is everybody's trouble in the grand scheme of things, man. All right, everybody gonna feel this, you know. But judgment, as the scripture saying, I believe it's 2 Peter, judgment will come upon Israel first. Okay, the house of the Lord first, man. Real quick, I don't want to make this too long, but I got to hit this point since I'm thinking about it. Salaki, that's 1 Peter. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 17, it says, "For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High power?" You see? So, since we got into the punishment portion of Jacob's trouble, all right, and we know we know that it's going to befall 2/3 of Israel. Now we'll go into the point of Jacob's trouble that's also being a test. All right, like I said, it's the ultimate sifting process that we're going to experience in the midst of this terrible time. All right, what's it going to encompass? It's going to be the hour of temptation. All right, I mentioned it earlier. Hour of temptation. Let's go to Revelation. All right, so this is Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10. It says, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth." All right. And let me see real quick. I want to make sure if this is a specific world that I'm thinking about. I want to know if it's in the oikomen sense. All right. Con. So I was right. The oikomen sense. All right. So when you go into the root word for that, that's the Greek word that's used for the word world. Okay? Oikomen. All right, so the entire world is going to go through this hour of temptation. All right, and what is that temptation? It's going to be when the charagma, all right, that's written of in Revelation chapter 13 verse 16 is mandated. It's not just going to be mandated in America, it's going to be all around the world. Everyone is going to have to participate. Okay? Or not. You see what I'm saying? We all going to have to make our stand in that time. Right? It says the hour of temptation. Okay? And that's what Jacob's trouble is going to encompass. All right? The hour of temptation will come as a response. All right? It's going to come as a response to the chaos, to the scarcity, to the lawlessness, all right, that Jacob's trouble is going to bring. And this is where Esau brings out the ultimate, the ultimate goal that he's been trying to bring out for centuries. All right, the solution to everyone's problem, the MOTB, the charagma, the device that's written of in Revelation 13 verse 16. Okay, and here in Great Millstone, you're going to hear it over and over and over and over. It's going to be exhausting. All right, but we're going to keep harping it to you until that time comes, man. You see what I'm saying? Because Bishop Nathaniel's not going to tell you about this of IUIC. ICPK's General Yohana is not going to tell you about this. All right, all these other characters, BLW, HOI, WFI, none of them are going to tell you about this. Big Judah, none of these cats is going to tell you the truth. All right, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. You see what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to participate in this society that's being built throughout AI. And in order to interact with that AI system, you're going to have the key. All right, that key is going to be embedded in your hand or in your forehead, man. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is, man. Here's where your faith will be put to the biggest test. All right, this is going to be that great sifting process, the greatest sifting process. All right. All right. So as I said, your faith is going to be put to the biggest test here. The greatest test that you've ever had to face. All right. Everything that you've learned to that point through the Spirit. All right. Everything that you learned through the Spirit, after listening to the apostles, to the bishops, to the elders, to the brothers on down, to the correct doctrine. All right. Everything that you've been learning, it's all going to be put to the test. And even those who listen to these false prophets, okay, those who listen to these false prophets who told them that there wasn't going to be any Jacob's trouble, all right, everything that they believed in up to that point is all going to be put right in their faces, man. And they're going to have to stand on whatever it is that they've been taught to stand on. You see what I'm saying? While you got IUIC, who's mocking the true prophets of Great Millstone, you see what I'm saying? Calling us faith-based Israelites. Well, I'm sorry, but what other kind of Israelite do you need to be? What other kind of person we're commanded to be in this walk other than faithful? You see what I'm saying? Faith-based. That's what's going to get us up out of this thing alive. You see what I'm saying? The Lord's going to test your faith. All right? He's going to test all that talk that you've been talking. Okay? Because when the time of Jacob's trouble comes, all the glamour, all the pretty stuff, all right? People are going to start they're going to start hanging up their fringes and everything like that, you know what I'm saying? All right? Because it's not going to be sexy, all right, being an Israelite. It's not going to be this whole, Judah. It's not going to be none of that. None of that. You see what I'm saying? All the folly, all the gimmicks, you know what I'm saying? I can wear my hat while I'm preaching. I can do this. I can do that. You know what I'm saying? I can bring hoes around, you know what I'm saying, during the Passover. All right. I could just invite whoever wants to come in. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff is going to come to an end. You see what I'm saying? All that folly is going to come to when you can't make money no more off this truth, off this gospel. You see what I'm saying? We'll see where your faith lands you in that day. You see what I'm saying? Everyone is going to have to face this thing, and your faith is going to be put to the test, man. You see what I'm saying? And all the things that you've learned by listening to the apostles, to the bishops, to the elders and the elders on down, to the brothers, all right, is all going to have to be applied in this crucial time of Jacob's trouble. Like the elder apostle Ramlab says, you know what I'm saying, all the faith that you stored up in your spiritual bank account, you're gonna have to make that big withdrawal. You see what I'm saying? And all the faith that you done stored up by listening to the prophets, by reading for yourself all the things that the Lord did for those who diligently trusted in him. Okay? You're gonna have to walk and stand on that too. You see? That's why Jacob's trouble is so necessary. When there's no food, when there's no water, there's no shelter, and there's nowhere that's safe. You're going to have to remember Isaiah chapter 65, verse 13. Let's get that real quick. All right? And bear with me, Lord willing, I keep this under an hour. So let's go to Isaiah 65 and verse 13. Let's start at verse 12. It says, "Therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter. Because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not." How does the Lord speak? How does the Lord call? He does so by his prophets. He speaks through his prophets. You see what I'm saying? Amos chapter 3, verse 7. He speaks through his men. You see? And the majority of Israelites, they walk past the camp, they call us bums, they say we need to get a job, you know what I'm saying, not knowing anything about us. All right, they spit at us, they honk their horns, you know what I'm saying, real loud and obnoxiously. You see what I'm saying? They interrupt us during camp while we're out here preaching and giving the warning as we was commanded to. You see what I'm saying? Verse 13, "Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit." You have to go into Jacob's trouble knowing this. You have to go into Jacob's trouble knowing Sirach, the 2nd chapter. You have to go into Jacob's trouble having that foundation. You see what I'm saying? Your foundation has to be on the correct names. You see what I'm saying? When it's all said and done, you're going to know that the true prophets was teaching you the correct names. All right? You got to know all this. You have to believe on this. All right? You'll have to stand on every ounce of faith that you stored up. And only the elect are going to make it through this. All right? This is what the camps outside of GMS will not warn you about, man. And it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. But it's all the more necessary. Let's get 2nd Esdras. All right? 2nd Esdras chapter 7. Second Esdras chapter 7 and verse 6. It says, "There is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad road or a broad field, and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at a time, at once." All right? If this city were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? You see what I'm saying? This is going to be a very tough fight. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures say, through much tribulation shall ye enter into the kingdom of heaven. Through much tribulation. You're not going to skate your way through it. That's why the first ones that's going to buckle, the first ones that's going to bend are these so-called Christians, man, because they're waiting for a rapture. The scriptures don't tell you that. The scriptures say that you're going to go through this shit. You're going to face this thing. Verse 10, and I said, it is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, even so also is Israel's portion. Because for their sakes I made the world, and when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. Then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. Okay, we can't just be given the kingdom like we once were back in the ancient world when Adam was on the scene. We can't just be given the kingdom like that. We got to go through something. We got to prove our worth. You see? Full of sorrow and travail, they are but few and evil, full of perils and very, very painful. For the entrances of the elder world were wide and sure, and brought immortal fruit. If then they that live labor not to enter into these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are laid up for them. You see what I'm saying? The scriptures say to prove a friend, right? And the Lord is going to prove a friend of his servants and of all you Israelites who believe in the words of the prophets. Remember that fear is not an option in this walk. You see what I'm saying? Fear is not an option in this walk, man. Although there will be times that you'll feel fear as a result of what you'll see, all right, the comfort of this truth will keep you stable and calm in those days, man. So I'm going to end this off in the book of Isaiah, all right? Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 6. And it reads, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. All right. So the Lord is about to prove a friend in all of us. And Lord willing, we pass this test. All right. I speak to myself first and foremost, man. We all have to put that work in. All right. For that crown. You see what I'm saying? The scriptures say what? The Lord said, let no man take thy crown. You know what I'm saying? I want to grab that precept. I think let me just do it. Let me just grab that. I'm gonna be greedy today, man. So let me grab it and I'm gonna finish it off here. All right. Okay. I'm going to start at verse 10 again. Revelation 3 and 10, it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. See? So, this is the purpose behind Jacob's trouble. If you don't have, all right, if you don't have the wisdom and the spiritual fortitude to understand what Jacob's trouble is and accept it, you're not going to make it through this. You see what I'm saying? Understand it and accept it for what it is, that it has to happen in order for you to obtain those promises, in order for you to obtain that immortality on this side. You see what I'm saying? On this go around, to be told, well done, my good and faithful servant. You see what I'm saying? Because even if you're not a prophet or a man of the Lord, you know what I'm saying, in this gospel, in this ministry, you still have a part to play. Continue to pray, continue to fast, you know what I'm saying, continue to lift up prayers for brothers, man, as we in this fight. You see what I'm saying? Because we need them too. All right. So I'm going to cut that there. I pray this lesson was edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. It's been your brother Zakar Ya'Allah, branched out here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. In closing, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi Bahashem Yahawadah. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and who teach well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom.